Here's a great question. What are some dirty tricks used by lawyers or by parents who don't have lawyers to win child custody battles during divorce and other child custody proceedings? I'll answer this question based upon my experience in the jurisdiction of Utah, where I practice divorce and family law. Now understand, I'm not endorsing these things. I'm telling you that these are the sorts of dirty tricks you might encounter, and forewarned is forearmed. Number one, make false allegations. False allegations of how evil the other parent is. False allegations of abuse toward the children or the other parent. False allegations of neglect by the other parent. False allegations that the other parent is a substance abuser. False allegations that the other parent is mentally ill and unstable. Say diagnosed, even if there is no diagnosis. That makes your false allegations sound more serious and credible. Even after it's discovered there is no such diagnosis. Doesn't matter. False allegations that the other parent is a criminal, violent or otherwise. False allegations of the other parent being unfit. False allegations that the other parent's home is an unsafe or unhygienic environment. False allegations that you and only you are the children's primary caregiver, whatever that means. False allegations that the other parent's work schedule cannot accommodate joint custody, for example. False allegations that the other parent is withholding care and custody of the children from you. False allegations that the other parent is alienating the children from you. Number two, make more such allegations. The more and the scarier, the better. Why? Well, make enough false allegations and eventually the court will likely believe some of them. Like Joseph Goebbels said on The Big Lie, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. This is a quotation attributed to Joseph Goebbels, but there seems to be no evidence that he in fact said it. Still, it's a true statement. Hitler wrote in Mein Kampf that in the big lie there is always a certain force of credibility because, in the primitive simplicity of the broad masses' minds, they more readily fall victims to the big lie than the small lie, since they themselves often tell small lies in little matters, but would be ashamed to resort to large-scale falsehoods. Isn't that amazing? That's so insightful. It would never come into their heads to fabricate colossal untruths, Hitler goes on, and they would not believe that others could have the impudence to distort the truth so infamously. Even though the facts which prove this to be true may be brought clearly to their minds, they will still doubt and waver and will continue to think that there may be some other explanation. Close quote. Okay, what are some other dirty tricks? Well, call the cops and Child Protective Services. Make false allegations to them. This will gin up credibility for the false allegations you've made by having the case numbers and incident reports generated in writing by other people, which tends to cause everyone to conclude that, well, gee, if the police and Child Protective Services go to the trouble of responding to false allegations and making reports about them, well, gee, there must be something to these allegations, right? Sometimes the fact that officials of the government have gotten involved through no fault of their own and even without finding any evidence of any wrongdoing creates the false impression of smoke that dupes some courts into seeing fire, even if it's not really there. Then ask for the children to be represented by having a guardian ad litem or GAL appointed for them. That's a lawyer appointed for the children ostensibly to give them a voice in the child custody proceedings, but that has just the opposite effect generally. The GAL will then make recommendations to the court to protect the children from the falsely accused parents. See how that works? Then the judge can rely on the GAL's recommendations. By doing this, the GAL and judge thereby avoid appearing insensitive, incautious, and incompetent while being those very things. A shocking few in the legal system see or care about the harm in substituting better safe than sorry for holding the accuser to a preponderance of evidence standard.